Good Tuesday. How is everyone? Okay, let's go down the list. Hello, CJ, Sister Jeannie, Orestes, father to be Orestes, sister to be CJ, Denise. I caught you at the end of yesterday's. Thank you and you're welcome. And Maria, good day. All right, so I apologize. I'm a little bit late, not like me, but I was engrossed in reviewing what we were going to be talking about today with St. John of the Cross, because it's a kind of a long one, and I was trying to find a place to break it up because I don't think it's beneficial for me to drone on too long about because it's so deep. You have to take it in small bites. So, in any case. I definitely can recommend the molasses and sulfur. I did. My son had he just didn't like the taste of it at all, so I couldn't get him to finish his 3/4 of a dose. So I said, well, I'm gonna finish his and see if 2 is good. So I did, and now, it's probably a couple of things. I did sleep like a baby, and sometimes the full moon, which it is today, the full moon allows me to do that, or the opposite, or it keeps me up all night. So, and last night was the case where I was just felt like no inflammation, and everything was wonderful. So. I probably would recommend. If I did it again, I would do it probably a week apart. I did it a little bit close, that second dose, and then I think I'm good for quite a while. So we'll see how it goes. It's very important to get in tuned to your body, the host of your soul, and see how it reacts to different things and pay attention to it. And again, I apologize. I was reading an email from Maria this morning, and and I've got so many different remedies, if you will, that I've recommended. And again, I try to hone in on the ones that are most effective for me. So, and I do like to try new things because you never know what would work well for me or well for somebody else. So, that being said, let's get started on the lesson for today from St. John of the Cross. In nomine Dei, matronam nostri, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. And today is a good day for contemplation, especially Catholic contemplation. So let us place ourselves in the presence of the Trinitarian Theophany and humbly adore Dea matronam nostri, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Most Holy and Venerable Trinity, I believe that thou art here present. I venerate thee with the deepest humility, and I render to thee with my whole heart the homage which is due to thee. O Trinitarian Theophany, relying on thine infinite goodness and promises, I hope to obtain the pardon of my sins, the help of thy grace and life everlasting, through the merits of Deum Iesum Christum, et Dea matronam nostri. O Trinitarian Theophany, I love thee above all things with my whole heart and soul, because thou art all good and worthy of all love. I love my neighbor as myself for love of thee, and I forgive all who have injured me, and ask pardon of all whom I have injured. Let us thank God for the many graces that we receive and offer ourselves and our sufferings up to the Trinitarian Theophany. O Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, et Deum Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum. I most humbly thank thee for all the favors thou hast bestowed upon me to the present moment. It is again thanks to thy bounty that I should live to see this day, and I desire to employ it solely in thy service. I consecrate to thee all my thoughts, words, actions, and sufferings of this day. Sanctify them, O God, that there may, O Trinitarian Theophany, that there may be none that is not animated by thy love, or that would not tend to thy greater glory. Let us make a firm resolution to avoid evil and to do good, and let us beg of the Trinitarian Theophany the graces which are necessary to us. Thou knowest my weakness, and that I am unable to do anything good without the help of thy grace. Deny me not thy grace, O Trinitarian Theophany, proportionate to my necessities. Give me strength to avoid everything which thou forbiddest, to practice the good which thou hast commanded, and enable me patiently to bear all the trials which it may please thee to send me. O Deum Matronam Nostrae, I place myself under thy protection. I throw myself with confidence into the arms of thy compassion. Be to me, O Mother of Mercy, my refuge in distress, and my consolation in suffering, now and at the hour of my death. O Deum Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. I am heartily sorry for having offended thee, and I detest all my sins, because I dread the loss of heaven and the pains of hell. But most of all because they offend thee, my God, O most holy Trinitarian Theophany, Deum Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, who are all good and deserving of all my love. I firmly resolve with the help of thy grace to confess my sins, to do penance, and to amend my life. In nomine Deum Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. So if you notice, I stumble over the word God because it's a generic word, and it's English, and it comes from Gad, and it's not that old, and so it's been hijacked as well as, or maybe it wasn't hijacked. Maybe it was always meant for the other gods. So if I say it, if I accidentally say it, I try to define it immediately thereafter. Okay, so if I ever say it without the Trinitarian Theophany or the names of each of the entities in the Trinitarian Theophany, Deum Matronam Nostrae, Deum Iesum Christum, Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, that is what I mean. Of the signs wherein it may be perceived that the soulfully minded person has commenced his journey through this night and sensitive purgation. But as these drynesses may often arise, not from the said night and purgation of the sensitive appetite, but from sins or imperfections, remissness or lukewarmness, or from some ill humor or indisposition of the body, I shall here set down a few signs whereby it may be known whether the dryness in question arises from the said purgation, or springs from any of the aforesaid vices, for which object I find there are three principal signs. The first is, as if he finds no suavity nor comfort in the things of the Trinitarian Theophany, so he finds none either in any other created thing. For as the Trinitarian Theophany places the soul in the obscure night, so as to dry and purge her of the sensitive appetite, he lets her find pleasure or savor in nothing, wherein is credibly seen that this dryness in and inappetency does not proceed from sin, nor from imperfections freshly committed. For if this were so, she would, perforce, feel in the natural disposition some tendency or desire to take joy in something other than the things of the Trinitarian Theophany. For whenever the appetite lapses into some imperfection, it soon feels itself drawn towards it much or little, in the like degree as was the desire and affection it bestowed thereon. But as this want of relish in things above and below may proceed from some physical indisposition or melancholy humor, the which doth often not allow them to take pleasure in anything, the second sign and condition is essential. The second sign and condition of this purgation is that, as a rule, the memory is constantly fixed on God, the Trinitarian Theophany, with anxiety and painful watchfulness, since when she sees herself without her former relish for the things of the Trinitarian Theophany, the soul thinks that she doth not serve the Trinitarian Theophany, but is going backwards. And herein is seen that this want of appetite and dryness does not arise from coldness and lukewarmness, since it is of the very nature of lukewarmness not to care nor to feel interior solitude for the things of God, the Trinitarian Theophany. Wherefore, betwixt dryness and lukewarmness, there is a great difference. Because lukewarmness is subject to great remissness and slackening of the will and courage, and all solicitude to serve the Trinitarian Theophany is absent, whereas merely purgative dryness carries with it a constant anxiety, accompanied by regret and pain, that the soul, as I say, doth not serve the Trinitarian Theophany. And this, although sometimes increased by melancholy or other humor, as at other times it is, fails not to work its purgative effect on the appetite, since the soul is entirely bereft of relish and sets her attention solely upon the Trinitarian Theophany. Because when it arises from sheer bodily indisposition, everything becomes distasteful and a source of uneasiness to the physical constitution, which feels no longer those desires to serve the Trinitarian Theophany which belong to the purgative dryness, whereby, although the sensitive part is greatly depressed and too weak and frail to act, by reason of the little relish it finds, the soul, nevertheless, is alert and strong. I'm thinking, no, one more paragraph and then I'm going to stop. The cause of this dryness is because the Trinitarian Theophany transfers the properties and strength of the sense to the soul, and the sense and natural strength of the sensitive part, by reason of their incapacity, being deprived thereof, they remain hungry, parched, and empty. For the sensitive part has no skill in that which is pure soul. And so, when the soul finds sweet relish, the flesh is vexed and loses its energies to act. But the soul, which is then engaged in receiving the divine food, proceeds stoutly and more alertly and solicitously than before in her watchfulness not to fail towards the Trinitarian Theophany. Although it does not at once experience soulful savor and delight, but dryness and displeasure, by reason of the novelty of the change. For as the soulful palate has been accustomed to those former sensible gusts, it still keeps its eyes thereon. And also because the soulful palate has not been made fit and purged for so subtle a pleasure, and cannot taste the spiritual delight and goodness, only aridness and distaste. For lack of that, it formerly with such ease enjoyed, until it has been gradually disposed thereto, step by step, by means of this dry and obscure night. Okay. So there's a couple of signs, and it's funny. This book is a lot of words trying with reason to describe, reason and understanding to describe feelings and intentions. And it's not an easy task. But if you pick up something here and there out of it, that's all good. That's the point. There's no way that we all can grasp the entirety of this process by reading a book. It's a combination of getting bits and pieces and then going and doing the action of Catholic contemplation. And most importantly, however, is the elimination of the vices and the increase in the virtues. Okay, let's start Mass. Deum vobiscum, et quo corpo te. Oremus. O God, the Creator and Redeemer, Trinitarian Theophany of all the faithful, grant to the souls of thy servants and handmaids the remission of all their sins, that they may obtain by loving prayers the forgiveness which they have always desired. Who livest and reignest with thee, one Trinitarian Theophany, forever and ever. Suscipe Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, hanc maculatum hostium, quam ego indinius famulus tuus offeriti Deum meum vivum et verum, pro inimidibus peccatis et offensionibus et negligentis meis, et pro omnibus circumstantibus, sed pro omnibus fidelibus catalocorum, vivi sacrae defunctis ut mihi proficiedat salutem. Deum qui humanae substantia dignitatem mirabilit condidisiat mirabilis reformaste da nobis spiritus sacra vinimistim, eis divinitatis esse consortis qui militatis nostrae fieri dignatis est particeps. Deum Iesum Christum Filium, qui tecum vivit et reinat, in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Offerimus tibi Deum calicem, salutaris tuum de peccantis clementium, ut conspecto divini majestatis tue, pro nostra, et totis mundi, salute, cum adoris suavitatis ascendat. In spiritu humilitatis et in animo contrito suscipiam rate Deum Iesum Christum, et sequiet sacrificium nostrum et conspectuto hodie uplaceat tibi Deum matronam nostrae Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Bene Sanctificator. Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, et sanctifici deblata prosequendo, et accipere hoc sacrificium tuo sancto nomine preparatum. Suscipe Sancta Trinitas, hanc oblationem, quam tibi efferimus, ab amore passionis, resurrectionis et ascensionis Deum Iesum Christum. Et in honoram Deum matronam nostrae, et Papa Pater Sanctorum, et istorum et omnem Sanctorum, ut idis proficiet ad honorem nobis autem ad salutem, et idi pro nobis intercedere in internet celis, quorum amorem agimus in te speriendum Christum Deum nostrum. Orate, ut meum ac vestrum sacrificium, acceptabile fiat op Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Suscipia Deum Iesum Christum, sacrificium de manibus tuis, ad laudem et gloriam nominis sui, ad utilitatem quoque nostrum totiusque ecclesiae sui sanctae. Deum vobiscum, quoque apud te, sursum corda, habemus ad Deum. Gratias agamus Deum nostrum, dignum et justum est. Te icit ocunamentissime Mater et Pater, Deum Mater Nostre, Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per Deum Iesum Christum Filium Tuum, Deum Nostre, supplices rogamus ac petimus, uti accepta habeas, et sanctificas, hic sanctam sacrificium medivata. In primis que tibi efferimus pro ecclesiam tuam sanctam, catholicam, quam pacificare custodiri ad honore, et regere dignitis toto orbit et arom et quod catholicae. Memento Deum famorum catuorum. We pray for the sick and the suffering. We pray for Katie Gage, Neil and Earl Lively, Maria Josephina Mose, Mark Jr., Henry and Barbara and Benedict Santa Croce, Casey, Mr. Nobody, Amble Tink, the Cantu and Duarte families, John Cahill, Maria and the Lineweber family, the Dusko, Nye, Tafor, Began, and Wolf families, and baby girl Began. We pray for Mr. Nobody to receive the funding and strength needed to complete the first Sede Vacantis Catholic Council office in Monastery of Illinois. We pray for an end to all governmental allowance or sanctioning of abortion, transgenderism, transhumanism, child trafficking, child ritual abuse, human trafficking, and forced medical abuse based on lies. We pray for the establishment of a Catholic monarchy with a sound Catholic system of labor, human value, and medium of exchange. We pray for courageous men to step forward as leaders of this Catholic society, to bring truth to light with fact. We ask that all quote-unquote gay marriage be banned and a reversal of the feminist ideology and a return to godly femininity. That these courageous men bring a sound monetary system so that the women can cease working for Freemasons and corporations everywhere. And that they come to understand the raising of traditional Catholic families is a very high ideal and a necessity for sustaining a Catholic society in imitation of the Trinitarian Theophany. We ask that all pornography and the OnlyFans platform be stopped immediately and forever. And we ask that you shut down all gateways and portals, particle accelerators, and any radiography equipment that does harm to a Catholic society. We ask you to destroy the satanic document of Vatican law that is the Jewish Talmud, destroy Rome and the Vatican, and transfer the authority of the Catholic Church to Fatima, Portugal. Release all souls under the dominion of Lilith and Asmodeus, and any Jew or Freemason that gives support to Israel. We ask for their conversion and their submitting to the Trinitarian Theophany as a joy. All these things we ask in accordance with God's holy and divine will. Et omnium circumstantium, quorum tibi fides cognita est et nota devotio, pro quibus tibi afferimus, verque tibi offertox sacrificium laudis, pro sesquisque, omnibus pro redemptione animarum suarum, pro spe salutis et calamitatis suae, tibi quid redunt vota sua aeterno Deum vivo et vero, communicantes et momene venerantes in primis gloriose semper Deum Matron Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et beatorum martyrium totum Papus Sancti Petri, et Sancti Lucia, et Sancti Jacinta, et Sancti Francisco, et Sancti Juan Diego, et omnium sanctorum tuorum, quorum meditis praecibusque concedes ut in omnibus, protectionis tui monum et exilio per Deum Christum Deum nostrum. Quam oblatione de Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum in omnibus consecratum, acceptabilum conficidi dignitis ut nobis corpum, et sanguinem fieri dictissimi filium tuum Deum Iesum Christum. Qui pridie quam pater et recepit panem in sancta sacramentis manus suas, et derivatis oculis in caelum et in Patrum Spiritum Sanctum suum omnipotentem tibi gratias agens consecravit. Fregi dedique luminis sui dicenza, cipite et mandacat ex hoc omnes. Hoc est enim corpus meum. Simini modo postquam ceremonia est, accipiens et hunc preclarum calicem in sancta sacramentablis manus suas, item tibi gratias agens Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Consecrave dedique luminis sui dicenza, cipite et vipite ex eo omnes. Hic est enim calix sanguinis mei, mysterium fidei, quae pro nobis et pro multis effudetur in remissionem peccatorum. Et quod est ubi feceritis me mono facetis. Unde et memores Deum nos server tui, sed plebs tua, sancta, justum Christum filium tuum, Deum nostre, tambe et passionis nec non et ab inferis resurrectionis, sed et in celos gloriose ascensionis offerimus, preclari majestatitude tuis doni sactatis, supraque propitio auxerino voture spicieri digneris. Supplices, eragamos Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, iube hic perfere per manus tuum, ut quod, ex apataris participationis sacrosanctum Deum filium tuum, corpus et sanguinem mysterimus, omni sanctificatione celestia gratia Dei per amor per Deum Christum Deum nostre. We pray for those who have died. We especially pray for Donald Clemens, for whom this Mass is being offered. Ipsis Deum et omnibum in Christum quiescentibum, locum refugieti lucis et pacis, ut indulge est precamor per Deum Christum Deum nostrum. Perquam hic omnia Deum Iesum Christum semper bona creas, sanctificas, vivificas, consecratis et prestas nobis. Per ipsum et cum ipso et in ipso, est tibi Deum Matrum omnipotenti in unitatem Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, omnis honor et gloria. Ave Dea Matronam Nostrae, gratia plena Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum tecum. Dea Matronam Nostrae Matram, Deum Iesum Christum, misericordia nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Libera nos quesumus Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, ab omnibus malis praeteritis presentibus et futuris, et intercedente beata et gloriosa semper Dea Matronam Nostrae. Cum Papa Petrum Sanctorum et omnibus sanctis da propitius pacem in Diebus nostris, ut opi misericordiae tui et vidite peccato, simus semper liberi et ab omni perturbatione securi. Per Deum Deum nostrum, Iesum Christum Filium Tuum Deum nostrum, qui tege vivit et regnat in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per aeternam. Pax Deum Iesum Christum sit semper vobiscum, et quoque apud te. Ecce ex Deo consecratio corporis et sanguinis Deum Iesum Christum, fiat et cipientibus nobis in ad salutem aeternam. Pax tecum, et quoque apud te. Deum Iesum Christum, qui ex voluntate Deum Matronam Nostrae corporante Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per mortem tuum unum vivificasti, libera me per hoc sacrosanctum corpus et sanguinum tuum ab omnibus iniquitatibus meis, et universis malis, et fac me tui semper in hanare mandatis, et atinum quam separare permittas, qui cum eodem Deum matronam nostre et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, vivis et regnam aeternam. Perceptio corporis tui Deum Iesum Christum, quod ego in ninius sumere presum non mihi proveniat in judicium a condonationem. Sed pro tua pietate prosit mihi adtutum edis corporis, et adam et Deum percipiam qui vivis et regnas, cum Deum matronam nostre in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. In panem celestum accipiam et nomen Deum Iesum Christum invocabo. Deum matronam nostre non sunt dignius, ut et subtetum eis in tantum verba sabatorum mea. Deum Iesum Christum non sunt dignius, ut et subtetum eis in tantum verba sabatorum mea. Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum non sunt dignius, ut et subtetum eis in tantum verba sabatorum mea. Corpus Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet anima mea. Quid retribum Deum Iesum Christum, pro omnibus quietud mihi calicem saitaris accipiam et nomen Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum invocabo. Laudans invocabo Deum matronam nostri et ab inimicis mei salvos ero. Sanguis Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet anima meam. Quod ore sumpsimus Deum Iesum Christum puramente capimus et immunere tempore fit nobis remedium sempiternam. Corpus tuum Deum Iesum Christum, quod sumpsit sanguis quem patare veherebus meis presta, ut in me non remeniat caela macula quem, pura et sancta reficione sacramenta. Deum vobiscum, et quoque apote, oremus. May the prayer of thy suppliants profit the souls of thy servants and handmaids, we beseech thee, O Deum Iesum Christum, that thou mayest free them from all sins and make them sharers in thy redemption, who livest and reignest with thee, one God, one Trinitarian Theophany, forever and ever. Deum vobiscum, et quoque pote, ite mises, Deum gratia. Placia tibi sancta Trinitam, obsequum servitutis mea presa ut sacrificium, quorucalis tui maestatis in unus opta di tibi sacertata venemique et omnibus, pro quibus irut opta liciti miserante propitiabile per Christum Deum nostrum. Sanctificat vos omnipotens Deum, Matronam et Filium et Spiritum Sanctum, Deum Matronam nostre et Deum Iesum Christum et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Gracias. O Trinitarian Theophany, I believe, I venerate, I hope, and I love thee. I beg of thee pardon for those who do not believe, do not venerate, do not hope, and do not love thee. Most Holy Trinitarian Theophany, Deum Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. I venerate thee profoundly, and I offer to thee the most precious body, blood, soul, and divinity of Deum Iesum Christum present here in reparation for the outrages, sacrileges, and indifference by which he himself is offended. And through the infinite merits of his most sacred heart and the immaculate heart of Deum Matronam Nostrae, I beg of thee the conversion of poor sinners. In nomine Deum Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Gracias. Thank you for attending today and for your prayers and especially for your donations. I appreciate that. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to give me a an email. There's only a few that I let call me. And I will see you tomorrow, Wednesday, same time, and we'll continue on with St. John of the Cross. And please, let's say that Rosary 150. It is tremendously effective, as was shared by a friend recently. The intention is very, very important. So make sure you have a good intention with your Rosary as well. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. Please go and sanctify all those who meet today.